Hello, everybody. How you doing? It's Gus Tucker, and it's Financial Freedom Friday. It's good to see everybody. Here we are in June, and I'm up here in Chicago. I hope it's warm where you're at. And it's getting ready to be Father's Day, so happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. I know I'm a father of three, and we've got a good time planned and on Sunday, and I hope you do too. So here we are, Financial Freedom Friday, where our whole purpose is to support your effort to create financial independence. And financial independence is a destination that you have to set for yourself. Hey Jackie, how you doing, Miss Jackie Barber? Hello. You got to set it for yourself. And Lynn Ann, Pittsburgh, I grew up about 90 miles from Pittsburgh in Warren, Ohio. So we used to go to Pittsburgh years ago to watch the Pirates play and fun times. But our whole goal and our whole purpose. Hey, Edwina from Jacksonville, first time viewer. Y'all say what up to Edwina. It's good to have you. I'm glad you're dialing in to check us out. Let me know if you get some value, okay? Hit me up with a comment. If we give you some value, let us know. But our whole purpose is to support you in creating financial independence. And there's a lot of exciting things going around that we're going to be bringing you up to speed on here in the near future regarding financial independence, regarding entrepreneurship, regarding some opportunities that are going to be available to you. So with that, we're going to get started and see if I can get this slide up here to participate. There it is. So it's all about creating pathways to financial independence, taking action to make your goals happen. Okay. So financial independence is, you can read it. It's the state of having sufficient personal wealth to live without having to work actively for basic necessities. And I was working on my goals and dreams this morning and writing some things down. I want to encourage you to do is to dream big about your future and what it is you want to see happen, but also be willing to take action, because action is what's going to give you energy and motivation to make things happen. Don't look around and see what everybody else is doing, because you know what they're doing? Nothing. Complaining. That's what they're doing. Walking in fear and doubt. You take action against the goals and dreams that you have that are in your heart, okay? Take the financial literacy challenge. I'll let you get to that. Hey, Miss Love, how are you? Take the financial literacy challenge. Let me know how you did. Send me an email. I want to send you the ebook on. I want to send you this ebook on money and wealth. I want to send it to you because I want you to read it because you want to be informed. I'm learning more and more every day about how our economy works locally and globally. And it's an ongoing education, guys. And I encourage you, take that quiz, get the ebook that I'm going to send to you, and stay plugged in. We're going to be talking about some dynamic concepts as we move forward. You want to get this book, How Money Works, by Tom Matthews and Steve Siebold. Tom Matthews and his team manages 8 figures, it's actually 9 figures worth of money for people. So they know what they're doing. It is a great book. It is an easy read. They take something complex and make it simple. Okay. So what we're talking about and what we're doing right now is taking action. Hello, Tina from Houston. I was in Dallas last weekend. Love me some Texas. Looks like we may be moving there in 23. So say what you want until you see what you say. You have to have your goals in your head, and you got to be taking action against them every day, every day, every day, every day. Because everybody out there is in one of these 3 financial situations where your cash flow is greater than your expenses. Okay, at the end of the day, you've got more cash flow than expenses. But if you aren't doing the right things with that money, it doesn't matter because the money is just being dissipated and it's not being focused on a goal. Focus. What's the power of focus? You go outside, it's hot up here in Chicago. I'm sure it's hot most of the places you guys are. But you can go out in the heat and you can bear it, right? You may put a hat on, some sunscreen and whatever. But if you got a magnifying glass out and put your hand out and put that magnifying glass there and had the sun coming through that magnifying glass, how long could you stand that? Not long. Why is that? Because that energy is focused and intentional. It'll burn a hole right through your hand. Regarding your financial future, you got to get intense and focused. So your cash flow is greater than your expenses. Man, I'm excited for you, but what are you doing with that money? Working with a client this week that has over $5,000 a month that was coming through their pipeline, but they really didn't know what was happening with it. Now we're assigning tasks to that $5,000. It's going to fund the retirement. It's going to fund the kids' college education. It's going to fund an emergency fund, and it's going to fund that person's long-term care should they need that down the road. And before, what was it doing? Just all over the place, okay? Some people, your cash flow is equal to your expenses. That means it's tight. It's paycheck to paycheck. Over half of Americans are doing that. So what do we need to do for that? And cash flow less than your expenses, that's kind of an emergency situation, okay? And we need to take some different actions for doing that. Now, the tips I'm giving you, don't take them as advice, okay? Okay, because you need to either meet with one of our professionals or another financial professional to develop that relationship so they can get the full picture and give you real advice. Because prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. If you walked into your doctor's office or your dentist's office and the doctor just start writing prescriptions to you, or the dentist just start pulling teeth out without an examination, what would you say about them? And these folks is crazy. And you about to go get a lawsuit going on these people because they're not diagnosing the situation. Your money is the same way. Your money is the same way. So along those lines, here's something I want you to do. This is a form. I can send you a copy of it and you can make your own. Your life is lived in stages. You got some short-term goals you need to hit in the next 0 to 1 year. Some things that are immediate that you need to plan for. You got some midterm goals in the next 1 to 5 years. 1 to 5 years. I was just talking to a friend of mine right before the show, and they've got a child that's 15. So guess what's happening in 2-3 years? College. So that would be a midterm goal, right? But there's also some short-term goals, 0 to 1 year. Then you have long-term goals that are more than 5 years out. Well, guess what? One of the things that I would suggest that you do is that you have accounts, different accounts set up for these different time frames. Because under 5 years is savings. 0 to 1 year term emergency savings kind of thing. 1 to 5 is midterm savings for specific items that are on your list. And then more than 5 years, that's investing. And you're going to have different accounts for those and different strategies for those based on what your goals are. So for these 3 time frames, you got to think about, what do you want? What do you want? How much will it cost? How much will it cost? Like, we're looking to move to Dallas in September of 23. Well, how much is that going to cost? We're looking at some neighborhoods, some homes. Okay, how much is it going to cost? You're going to keep the homes in Chicago? You're going to sell them and move down there? You're going to live both? What? By when? How much will it cost? By when? And then how are you going to make these goals a reality? What's the account you've got set up so you can start putting money away for it? But then what are the activities you're going to do? What are you going to do differently to make those goals happen? Okay, and you keep these in front of you. You keep these in front of you. This becomes your guide. This is what you're working on, at least part of it. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? Hit me in the chat. If you got any questions about this, I'll give you a second. Hit me in the chat if you got questions about this. But you want good afternoon from Houston. Hi, Janine. So if you got questions about this, Flint, Michigan, what's up? If you got questions about this, hit me up in the chat. Let me know. I'm going to move on to the next slide, okay? Now, you're going to set priorities by time, but you're going to have competing priorities. Here's the thing. Every house, this is your financial house, every house has a foundation. When I work with people, I have insurance as the basis or foundation of your financial plan. Why is that? There are two things that can mess up your financial plan. Guess what the two major things are that can mess up your financial plan? Now, I want to hear from some folks, so hit us in the chat. I want to see it. So, Mr. Producer, when they hit me in the chat, let me know what they're saying. So, what are the two things that will really screw up your financial plan? The main two things you need to protect yourself against. What would you say those are? I want to get some ideas from you. So let me know what you're thinking. Hit me with some ideas. We're going to give you a minute or so before we move on to the next slide and I tell you. But I'd like you to tell me what you think the two things are that could happen to you that would most disrupt your financial plan. Okay? What is it? Credit. That can mess up your plan, but that's not one of the ones I'm thinking about. Thank you for that. I appreciate that participation. Thank you very much. Anybody else? What do you think? What do you think? There's two things that'll mess up your financial plan quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I will give you a hint. It's not something you plan on. It's not something, I'll give you another hint, that anybody ever plans on. Okay? What do you think it is? I want to get a couple more people to respond. What do you think it is? Come on now. Don't be scared. There you go. Boom. There's one of them. Death. Yes, ma'am. Dying. And there's number two, health issues that cause you to lose your plan. Dying or almost dying. And not planning. Not planning will make this even worse. Thank you, Edwina. An emergency. So dying and almost dying. So dying creates a problem because typically, what don't people have enough of? Thank you, Jackie. What don't people have enough of? Insurance, because we didn't really plan on it. One of the ways that we're missing it in our community and really in all communities, this isn't just a Black people problem. It's just a people problem. 60% of the people in America have zero life insurance. And another 25% don't have enough or they got the wrong kind. Okay? So I want you to think about this. Our families have been here for a while. Okay? And I know financially over the generations we've done better and better and better and better. But if we will take care of this when people are young and we'll think about it, what if everybody in your family, when they passed away, somewhere between $250,000 and $500,000 check was cut to your family? For every individual person that ever passed away in your family, where would your family be at today? Yep. Be a lot better off, wouldn't we? That's dying. Now, almost dying can be even worse. Why? Because I can't work and make money. The bills are still coming in, the regular bills. Now I got these new set of bills called medical that's now happening. How many people have $1,000 a month set aside for medical bills in their budget? I don't think that many people. That's why medical bills are such a high cost and reason why people file bankruptcy. So that's why we have insurance as a plan, and insurance that'll handle the dying, and also insurance that has living benefits. We talked about this in some of the previous shows. We're going to revisit again because some of you might have missed it. They call living benefits. How even with a term insurance policy, you can have living benefits that'll cut you a check. Quick story, one of my friends who works with me in this business had a nephew who had 7 children and 0 life insurance. This is a Caucasian brother. 7 children, no life insurance. Contracted stage 4 cancer. Fortunately enough, my friend, who's a professional on our team, was able to get him a $500,000 term policy. When he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, the doctor and he wrote a letter to the insurance company. They got $440,000 of that $500,000 advanced to them that was able to take care of the family while he was going through some alternative treatments. And he lived another 2 years. But what would have happened to his family? Wife, 7 kids, wife couldn't work. He couldn't work. What if they wouldn't have bought that policy? Where would they have ended up? Okay, so the first thing we want to do, you see that water faucet, the first thing we want to do is proper protection. Okay, want to get the life insurance right. And we also look in that bucket, health, disability, long-term care. We look at that. But we're not going to have you be insurance poor. You're not going to be insurance poor, though. The next thing is we want to look at is managing the cash. So we're getting out of debt. We're getting some money set aside for emergencies. Because if we don't get money set aside for emergencies, what happens? Man, we hit that credit card or we borrow money from people. Okay? And then the next thing you want to do is have investments for the short, medium, and long term. Well, investments are for the long term. Okay? Retirement kind of thing. All right? So, and I understand there are people that can't get insured, so we need to do other things. There are other ways that you can, there are some tools that are available that by investing and saving through them, they give you access to some things that can help you down the road. It won't be, well, there's some specialty products. So if you're interested, hit me up. We can talk about it. Next slide. So this is called DIME. This is called DIME, and it's about how you prepare to make sure you have the right amount of insurance. DIME means you have money that's going to cover your death and your debt, money that's going to cover income going forward, cover your mortgage, cover education and estate expense, and cover retirement. Because one of the things we don't think about, if you die, you can't contribute to your retirement plan. And even though you get an insurance policy, those expenses you had are still going to happen. We need to be thinking about retirement. Okay? So we need to work to make sure we've got the right amount of insurance, okay, and the right type. Some insurance needs have a time on them. Some of them will last your entire life and even for generations that you may want to provide for. Okay? So it's something we need to do. Now, next thing I want to chat with you about briefly is investing your money. Okay, I know the markets have been kind of tricky for the past few months. We've given back some of the gains that we got last year when the market was up. So what I want to say to you is there are concepts out there that have what I call market correction protection. What does that mean? Market correction protection. You've heard the saying, what goes up will come down, right? But what if there was a way for you to participate in the upside, but not participate in the downside of what's going on in the market? Now, it's not too good to be true because there are some limits on the upside you can participate in, but you participate in none of the downside. And analysis has shown that that's better over time than going into the market without that kind of downside protection. So one of the things we have to do is we have to invest our money so it grows faster than inflation. Right now, inflation's been pretty rough, right? Have you seen the cost of gasoline, the cost of basic commodities that you buy at the store? They're going up. And can you go to your boss and say, hey, boss, this inflation is really tough. I need a 20, 30, 50% raise just to keep things going even. No, maybe not. But that's why you got to think about two things. One is, what can you do to have multiple streams of income, right? So that either your job stream or your second stream is not tied to your bills. That's just going to those goals and going to the future. Second thing we need is an investment plan. And the rule of 72 calculates how long it takes to double your money. So if you take 72 divided by the rate of return, I can see this came out kind of crazy on this page a little bit. Like if you get a 4% return, it doubles every 18 years. If you get a 8% return, it doubles every 9 years. You get a 12% return, it doubles every 6 years. Let me ask you guys a question. What are the banks giving you on your savings account or checking account? Or they call them certificates of deposit. I call them certificates of depreciation. Okay, what are they paying you? Less than 1% to 2% maybe. You can go to bankrate.com, and you can see what those rates are. So you need to be working with someone to make sure that your money is beating inflation, that your money's beating inflation, that 2, you're not paying taxes while that money is growing for you, and 3, you got some downside protection, what I call market correction protection. And there are concepts that can help you to do that. Okay? So those are some things I just want you to think about as we're moving forward. The next thing is retirement. Okay? As you think about retirement, you need to be thinking about at least a couple of different things. One is when, and then how much do you want coming in? When, how much do you want coming in, and then where's it going to come from? And I encourage the people I work with to look at their retirement several different ways. And the first one is, what is it you would need to just not have to go to work? You're not living real large, it's not real fancy, but what you've done is bought your life out of your job. What's that number to buy your life out your job? Where all your bills are being paid, you got the medical insurance and all the stuff you need. You're not living crazy, but you're maintaining your current lifestyle and you don't have to go to work. What's that number every month that you need to have coming in? And you can either create that through a multiple stream of income, another stream of income, or by saving money. And you want to know what that number is both ways, right? So let's say it was $5,000 a month. Well, I either need to make that through another situation, or $5,000 a month is about 60 grand. If at 5%, if I had $1.2 million saved and I could get 5% on it, that'd be 60 grand. $1.2 million, that'll take forever. Well, it will if you never start, but it won't if you get after it. Okay, because if you go back here, go back to the slide we're just looking at, where it says, how long does it take 10%? How long it takes to 10 times your money by using 240 divided by the rate of return? Okay, so let's just say the rate of return was 12%. 12 into 240 is 20 years. So if I had 100 grand, it would take me 20 years to double that money. Okay, can you get 12% returns on things? Yes. Can you get higher? Yeah. And usually higher is about either starting your own or investing in a business, which is another concept that we need to consider. So when you're going to retire, you're going to think about, okay, how much, by when, and where is it going to come from? Your money can only come basically from 4 places. You keep working, And on here, you're going to figure out, okay, how much is going to come from work. Number two, you have investments. You have some sort of money that you've invested in some kind of asset, a non-real estate asset that you've invested in that's throwing you off so much cash every month. The third thing is real estate. The third thing is real estate. How much money do you have invested in some sort of real estate that's going to throw off the money? And the last thing is some sort of business. Now, real estate is a business. Investing can be a business, but I'm breaking those out separate. Investment's one thing, real estate's another thing. Owning a business is a fourth thing. I encourage people to have all four going, to have a number attached per month that they need to make, right? And have their monthly expenses broke out when they retire, so that every day you wake up, you're working against that game plan, right? And you're very intentional and focused. And you guys ever gone on vacation before? Or had to go out of town, catch a plane? Man, you got all kind of stuff done that week before that trip, right? Because you had to have it all done because you're about to be out of town. And you got all that stuff done. What if you worked like that every week? What if you worked like that every week? Could you get more done? Yes. 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 Now, I'm going to encourage you to check out a couple of books by a gentleman named Ed Mylett. E-D, first name, last name, M-Y-L-E-T-T. He's got a book called Max Out, and a book I'm reading right now that's called Just One More. Just One More. Just One More. So check those out as it looks to as you look to continue to improve yourself and better your time management. Okay, so those concepts I wanted you to know, because as you're putting your game plan together, we need to handle those things first. Okay, we need to handle those things first, and then we talk about the different scenarios. So I'm going to skip. I think I can do this. See if I can figure this out. How to do this? No, didn't want to do that. But we could. We were on the last scenario, scenario 3. I'm just going to skip through this real quick. We were on scenario. That's 2. We were on scenario 3, right? Scenario 3 was the emergency situation, basically where your income, your cash flow is less than your expenses. Key tips for this situation is we got to increase our income and reduce our budget at the same time. You got to find ways to reduce your spending, find ways to reduce your income. I would focus on having term insurance with living benefits so we cover the disaster. What happens if I die too soon, right? Or if I get sick or hurt and I can't work, and you develop an emergency fund. So you can screenshot this on your computer, but look at all these things. This person I'm working with, they make really good income, and they got a really huge tax refund. It's huge as it relates to her income. And so we're working with her to change her allowances on her W-9. W-9 or W-4, I forget which one. It has the withholdings, okay, to reduce those, to put the money back in your check, okay? These are things you can do, okay? And we were able to save this person significant amounts of money by looking at all these things and adding them up. It was a number with a comma, and the number in front of the comma was more than 1. Okay, then we were able to save them on a monthly basis by looking at these things. So just screenshot that, okay, and look at each one of these things as a way to change your budget. Next thing is start a business. Everybody ought to own a business. I was just talking to a friend of mine before this, how to turn something he's doing right now into a business to get him tax deductions. Because what if you could deduct another $5,000 or $10,000 from your income? Well, that changes how much you got to pay in taxes. It'll reduce your taxes by a couple grand, even if you didn't make any money, at least not initially. Okay, I encourage you to own a business. Why? The income, the taxes, creating multi-generational wealth. The best investment is investing in yourself, and you're going to develop confidence and develop the ability to communicate, to sell, to persuade. Everybody needs that. Best thing to do is find a mentor or business system, plug into it, let them teach you that system. Okay. This gentleman here, Olakunle Surian, is a gentleman I met in Africa when I was there in February, and we've stayed in touch. And he came up to Chicago to speak at an event that I was involved in. Then I went down to Dallas to an event he was hosting. Super smart brother, super bright, entrepreneur across the world. We're going to see if we can't get him on the program, but look him up on YouTube, listen to his stuff. And then these two books by Ed Milet to read, Max Out and The Power of One More. Read those, because that's about changing your mindset so you can change your life, okay? If it's work related, get promoted, improve your thinking skills and your value to your company. Screenshot that. Okay, got it. Third thing, do you have enough and the right kind of life insurance? We talked about that. You want to get, if you're in this situation, you just want to get term insurance and get the most you can to make sure you're covered. There's no best kind of insurance, term versus cash value. There's no best. It's what's best for you in this situation. Okay. And if you get term insurance, make sure it's convertible. What does that mean? That means once the term is running out or about to run out, you can convert it to permanent so you can stay insured. Okay. And we'll go through this again. And you want to have living benefits. That means it'll take care of you have a critical illness like these, heart attack, surgery, stroke, cancer, kidney failure, or you have some sort of chronic illness, like one of these that comes up, okay, where it may not kill you anytime soon, but it's gonna hamper your ability to work or your lifestyle. If you have the right kind of insurance, you can get paid from that death benefit. If you have one of these things, it's not going to kill you. Okay. If you got one of these things, because you rather get a check or no check. Check, no check. Like the story I told. Get cancer, get a check for 440 grand. Get cancer, don't get a check. It's up to you. And it'll also help you with long-term care kind of stuff. We also need to make sure we're developing an emergency fund where part of that money is every month you're putting something toward that emergency fund, right? So that you've got money being saved up every month. Now, here's what we're going to do. Next time we get together, we're going to go through these concepts one more time. You're going to have your budget in front of you. We're going to go through these exercises. You're going to go through them and put your plan together. Put your plan together. If you need help doing that, reach out. We can help you, okay? So that's going to end it for today. We're out of time. We're actually 3 minutes and 30 seconds over, but we got started a little bit late. So that's Financial Freedom Friday for today, June 17th. Now, there's a couple first timers. Now, hit me up with a comment. Did you get any value out of this? Let me know what's working for you and what isn't. All right. You guys have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day. Enjoy your time with your family. Also, Juneteenth. Hello? Juneteenth, important day in many of our lives. Okay, now, what are we doing with the freedom that we have? What are you doing with the freedom that we have? Oh, we're not really free. We're going to talk about that another time. But it starts here. Starts here. The freedom starts here. First thing we got to get free from is our past. Whatever happened to your past, you got to let it go and move on. Okay? All right, guys. Take care now. Bye-bye.